Hello, this is Midway Arcade Treasures for PS2. I'm running it in the PCSX2 emulator, or the emulator called PCSX2 in Windows. So there's 3 of these collections for PS2, 3 Midway Arcade Treasures collections. 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to be playing just the games in them that are not in the PS3 collection, which I just went through all the games in. There's 31 games in that one. That one is called Midway Arcade Origins. So there's about twice as many games in these 3 PS2 collections collectively, but only 24 of them are games that are not in the PS3 collection. So I'm just going to be playing those 24 games. This one, the first Midway Arcade Treasures on PS2, has the least number of games that aren't in the PS3 collection, I guess because they're mostly the big hitters that the PS3 collection also wanted to have in them, so like Joust, Joust 2, 720. So the first one that is not in the PS3 collection is Blaster. This is by, you can see it says VidKids production. VidKids was, oh heck, I forgot their names again. The Eugene, Jarvis, and the other pretty famous guy. Anyway, the other games they did as a team as VidKids were Robotron and Defender and Defender 2. But I don't know if they used the name VidKids for those, actually. There was maybe one other that I'm forgetting right now. I guess they didn't. Anyway, so let's check out Blaster. Blaster is sort of a sequel to Defender, but it's like first person. It's kind of gross. So, oh, okay, wait a second. Are there any options in this thing? Options you have to do here. Okay. Oh man. Game options, game controller. Okay, sound. What does that mean? View other Midway games. Oh wow, I can watch an NFL Blitz video. Midways. Not really.
Game time.
Hey, Terrell. Amazing. Okay. I wonder if it's auto-saving. Okay, that's a good option. Reset ice cores, controller setup. Oh. Left analog. Yeah. Okay, well. Oh, good. Okay, there's autosave is on. There's difficulty settings. Okay, that's all pretty good. It's kind of a not easy to read menu, but anyway, that's fine. Oh, there is a history. So I was wishing the PS3 collection would have a little, like, history thing. Oh, that was weird. There's actually kind of more info than I wanted. It's got all the arcade flyers and stuff. Look at that thing, that cockpit. What the heck? Wow, it's just this like rubber. What do you call it? It's like a big rubber bollard. You just drive cars into that thing. Maybe they put them up to protect like the Pentagon. To remote. Well, that was wild. R1 or there's categories? Oh, I see. What was the original name for Blaster? Big Blaster, Master Blaster, or Blaster Master? Well, who's that guy? If this was done by the guys who'd done Defender, I don't know. Say Big Blah. Oh, I stink. Oh, I have to keep guessing.
The name that we wanted to
Oh my
use
gosh.
was Master Blaster, and we discovered at the time.
Oh yeah,
there
he's
was
the
a
other
pinball
co-designer,
simulation
Larry
program called
DeMar.
Billy Budge's Raster Blaster, available for the Apple computer, so decided to change the name to avoid confusion. We pondered and toiled for a couple of weeks to come up with a better name for the game, and in frustration ended up just simply shortening it to Blaster.
That was very loud, and that must be another guy whose name I've already forgotten for myself. Only about 1,000 Blaster arcade cabs were made before the crash. How many sit-down cabinets were finished? Oh, I know this. It was 3. I just read this on Wikipedia. I got this one.
3.
Yes.
1 is on display at my dad's house in Palo Alto. The other game, well, actually the second game, was converted into a Devastator game, which is a very limited edition prototype. And there have been unconfirmed sightings of the third game. Its actual whereabouts are unknown at this time.
That's exactly what it says in Wikipedia. They're basically soft quoting this. Okay. Normal wood cabs. Some Blaster had cylindrical plastic cabs called Duramold. Why weren't there more of these produced? Flammable, pungent odor, they shrunk. I'm going to say flammable. Ah, heck. They shrunk.
Duramold unfortunately had its tendency to shrink and was only used in 2 games, Blaster and Bubbles. Now normally this exhibited itself in a shrinkage that made the coin door hard to open. But actually in one game it was reported that the shrinkage increased the internal pressure of the cabinet so much that the monitor was ejected across the arcade and impaled a Donkey Kong Jr. machine.
No.
Fortunately, there were no other injuries.
That's gotta be fake. Third and final game that Eugene, Jarvis, and Larry DeMar's Vidkits company produced, originally conceived as an Atari 800 game. Oh, right. Yeah, I read that on Wikipedia, too. So it wasn't even going to be a arcade game, and the arcade hardware was actually slower than the Atari computers they wanted to put it on, so they were kind of bummed out about that. They were told they had dancing girls. No. Get one of the last shit. I guess this one.
Well, the day after we cashed the check, Atari supernovaed, and Jack Tramiel fired 90% of the workforce in the great video game crash.
Wow.
Unfortunately, not a single remaining Atari employee knew of the existence of the Blaster project, and Blaster forever vanished into the rubble of the great video game debacle.
Dang. I just realized I forgot something. Hang on a sec. Forgot to finish brushing my teeth. You know, this is actually really sweet. I really was wishing the PS3 version would at least have had like a paragraph about each game. They had nothing, but this one's got interviews. Man, this might take a while to get through these, but heck, it's kind of fascinating. At least I'm okay. Anyway, one of the earliest first-person shooting games. Yeah, that's this game, Blaster. Took a year. Wow. Unreliable ROM burners, lack of scaling hard. Oh, it was probably this, because yeah, they had to do it in software.
Doing a first-person flying game in 1983 without any scaling or rotating computer hardware is quite a challenge. Particularly, it meant that each pixel of each image had to be hand-drawn in each size and in each rotation that it was displayed in the game. This caused thousands of hours of artist time to be necessary to generate all of the artwork that you see in the game.
Jeez. What features were originally street tested for Blaster but left out? I don't.
After initial testing, the ability to buy in and
I got it right.
game, when it was over by inserting additional money was removed from the game. At the same time, the game was shortened from 30 stages to 20 stages to make it possible to complete it on one coin. At this time, there was a stage called Outer Space, which, among other things, had this gargantuanly large Starship Enterprise that would just fly over your head for about 3 miles.
Whoa.
And that whole stage was removed at this time.
Dang, do you have a prototype? What was the processor speed? Oh, It was like 1 megahertz.
Even though it may take 2 minutes for your 266 megahertz Pentium 2 to boot up, Blaster was programmed, believe it or not, with a 1 megahertz chip. And man, did it hurt.
I already did this one. What the heck? I'm just looping through them, I guess. Alright, so wait, can I like... Oh yeah, okay. Oh man, we got chunky zoom. That thing's pretty cool looking. Crazy joystick. That side art's pretty sweet, actually. Alright, what else? No history. Oh. Well, we just had kind of there in the... Okay, anyway, that was cool. So now I want to see all the trivia and stuff for the other games. Oh, you can just hit square to go to... Okay. Well, let's see what they get to say about 720. Oh, we got a logo. Nothing there. Interviews, inspiration for the movies in 720 degrees. What?
You can imagine a joystick that revolved on a circular basis that wouldn't return upright. So it just in a circle, which would enable you to do the 720. If you got your speed going right, hit a curve, you could flip in the air and do that.
Okay, yeah, kind of knew that part. All right, well, wait. Oh well, heck. Okay, thrust blast. All right. Oh man. Novice, Pro, Star Captain, Supreme Admiral, Saucerland. Oh heck. Okay. It's got like inverted, steering and stuff. So we got these like defender style enemies kind of, so I'm supposed to fly through the arches. It's so flashy. That's why I can't play defender. What? I don't know. So like, go. What were the... No, you can't see the controls here. So this was the first port ever of this game in this collection, I think. That's what Wikipedia said. So, wait, there's a thrust button, but I didn't even notice it doing much. Oh, hi, Space Man. That was pretty sweet. Oh. There's something kind of weird about the view here. Oh, I nailed it. Oh, God. Ah, these graphics are pretty wild. Paradise. Jeez. Wow. The cat. What? So do you just, like, do the same level and that's it, or what? Oh, it is doing some kind of thrusting. Hey, there's an airplane. Oh, I think I took a shot right in the face. I didn't fly through any arches. Ow! Jeez. Maybe I'm supposed to be... I don't understand the thrust, so that's probably a problem. Okay, I'm just trying to floor it through the gates. So maybe I'll get shot at less. I'm about to die. Oh, I don't think you can accidentally hit the spaceman. That's good, because I thought I was gonna... Oh, there was a guy there. I love the sounds, the old Defender sounds or Robotron sounds or whatnot. I'm about to die again. Dang it. Or I gained a ship, though, at some point. There's an E. Did I get the E, or... Maybe that was an energy recharge. Vampires! Space vampires. Oh, these are enemies from Defender. Now in terrifying 3D. Oh. There's just no way to hit them all. Go. Oh boy. Tease my eyeballs. Should we see the pro stages? Oh, I'm a master blaster. It's my proudest moment. There's me, number 28. I will live long in the lore of the galaxy. Let's see two planetoids. Oh wait, that's the one I was just on. Let's oh wait, I was on Vampires too, so there's only one more level I hadn't been to, which is Saucerland. Saucerland! Restore last, what? Oh, you can't. What if you hit him in the middle like I did? That's great. Oh, cool. Just took a couple saucers in the face. Oh, I see. If you hit him first, it kills all the saucers around him. Ow. And I guess if you hit him last, that would be maximizing the points from the other saucers. Jeepers. The steering is just... Ugh. I haven't been using my thrust button. Oh, what's... 1 megahertz. Ugh. Holy cow. I was getting shellacked. I was smacked right in. Well, yeah, that's a game. Not... I can see why that didn't catch on. I mean, video game crash or not, I don't know. Let's check out some Bubbles history. This wasn't the PS3 one, like 720. Wow, we got a huge font. Right before the video game crash. A non-violent, clean game. Tended to be a Pac-Man inspired takeoff. Everything was trying to be Pac-Man in the early 80s. Oh, that was Python Angelo, huh? Where's it? Hello, I don't know. Together they brought the kitchen sink to life. I don't know if the cast of Bubbles really stands out. The game had crumbs. Wow, amazing. The cleaning lady's kind of cool, but you don't get a whole lot of feel of their personality or anything. Big challenge creating the drift movement of the free-floating bubble. Yeah, that's not great. Why didn't they just give it a trackball? Attempt to make analog control out of 8-way joystick. Well, why didn't you just have an analog? I don't get it. Special rotational molding process for the... Oh, it's an all-plastic cabinet? Oh, no, this is the one... That's the one that shrunk, right. The plastic cabinets were almost indestructible. When crushed, they would spring back to shape like an accordion. They could easily be fixed by heating and smoothing the plastic. Oh, cocktail's pretty cool. Lively cartoon animation, simplicity of control. Anyway, what is... It's probably gonna have a whole bunch of junk about Defender. Well, we know it's a big hit. Wait. Williams is our arch rival, Midway. Oh. Williams purchased Midway a few years later. I don't really understand this whole corporate thing with Williams and Midway, but so Williams bought Midway? Oh man, you can't really tell how long this is going to go on. At that point, all he had was a good title, Defender. Oh, okay. Tried to create the game from the title backwards. Defend fellow humans. Oh, I guess it worked out. Watching Star Trek episode. Mutants. Yeah, mutants are cool, I guess. Insert interview clip number 1. Well, let's just go to interviews or something. What do we got? Oh man, a lot of stuff. Management was not impressed.
It's pretty crazy because the night, this is insane actually. At the time, for our development system, we used this thing called a Motorola Exerciser, which was this huge, probably the most bloated, overpriced computer ever created. It was a dual floppy disk system. They used 8-inch floppy disks, which were like,
sweet.
Enormous, held like 10 bytes on them. And you had this $20,000 box that, I mean, would only work for like 3 or 4 days at a time before it failed. Something failed, it was horrendous. So it got to the point late in the project where it was taking like half an hour to just assemble the program. And so it was, and the odds of actually getting an assembly that actually made it were so low that the last week of the project, we just essentially just object code patches. We left the computer on, the program was in memory. Thank goodness there never was a power failure. And we just made patches in the code and just kind of stuffed them in there for the different bugs.
Jeez. Intimidating debut.
The show was the the Amusement and Music Operators Association, the AMOA, which is the big coin-op, quarter-eating game show, and in the United States. And mostly attended by game room operators and arcade chain executives and various other industry hacks. And the thing is, the tragic thing is, none of these people actually play video games. And we had Defender out there, and nobody would play it. I mean, they were afraid. They were so afraid of this game that I had to spend my time trying to lure people into our booth to play the game, and they'd want to watch me play the game. Or, sometimes we'd have a couple of kids in there playing the game, but mostly the game was empty because everybody was so afraid of the game. I guess it was all the buttons. We just had so many buttons on there that, people just go, man, I just can't deal with this.
They didn't let that stop them, though. They still put it out with all the buttons.
So it's kind of like, well, we go, okay, it's kind of cool, maybe we'll sell 1,000 games or something. You know, maybe some suckers will buy them. But at the time, it seemed like it was a bomb. But I don't know. We were just so high from finishing the thing that it wasn't disappointing at all. In fact, I don't know. We kind of maybe were proud that it intimidated everyone. You know, it's like we're kind of proud that the game.
Jeez.
So it was kind of, you know, people kind of. I thought it was kind of a bomb. You know, the buzz on the show was like Pac-Man and Defender were like bombs.
Whoa.
Pac-Man because it just played forever and it wasn't exciting, and Defender was like way too complicated to play, and people were thinking this game Rally X, which was a car racing game, was like the big game in the show.
Rally X, oh my gosh, that's Taito, I think. Anyway, Rally X sucks.
We stuck it out in an arcade, and the first night I didn't even show up. You know, I mean, you stick this thing out. You've been working on this thing for months. You almost got fired. You know, I mean, there was a point where I cleaned out my desk. You know, and certain, like the dark days when I was working on the astronauts, I'd actually cleaned out my desk and had put all my stuff in boxes. I mean, I was that close to like just quitting, and so I just didn't want to. You know, I didn't want to find out what people really wanted. Like, so I didn't show up first night, and second night I go out to the arcade, and the place was just, there was like people 10 deep watching Defender. There was people sitting on chairs and couches and like camped out around this game. And at that point I figured, wow, maybe this is
The most amazing project was the Defender project, because we were the #2 pinball company at the time, and we were yeah, we're going to get in the video game business. Yeah, right, Williams. And we got a bunch of people. They were put in a separate facility over on Belden Avenue. And this group, you know, everybody had one goal, and that was in a pretty short time frame to do whatever it took to make a really hot video game. And the way things were accomplished by that group and the atmosphere of this group was just amazing. I've never seen it equaled. And you know, now I've got a management role, and I would love to take and bottle whatever the ingredients were to try and create a situation like that again. And it's the best situation.
Larry, why did you let him put you into management? All right, what else do we get? Gallery. Oh yeah, pinball table. Why is Cruising USA in here? Okay, well, that was fun. So, oh no, I hit the play button on Defender 2. These are on the PS3 collection. I played them there. It didn't have the history things for them there, though. They should have just taken them from this. Oh man, wow, language. People are basically kind of masochistic. That's true. I don't know if I ever really saw Defender 2 in the arcade, though. I mean, it looks so much like Defender 1, maybe I did, but I never heard anybody talking about Defender 2. Doubled the memory. 26,000 units, that seems like a lot. It's too much like Defender 1, except harder. And yeah, at least it seems harder initially. What? They're secret Easter eggs? mutants run away from you instead of towards you when they reach a certain line in the scrolling landscape. Huh. Alright, well, that's fascinating.
That was VidKids. That was, we started in February of '81, and then Stargate was our first game.
And that, what else did you guys do besides Stargate?
We did Stargate, Robotron, and then a game called Blaster, which is falls into that low production category. And we also actually developed an Atari 800 version of that game, which preceded the coin-op, and was never brought to market. Well, Eugene and I did. We shared the load. It was we had a lot to do in a pretty short period. In the sense of doing a sequel, we were in a world where there were a couple of sequel games at the time. They had done Asteroids Deluxe behind When I first got the Digital Eclipse program, my mind was blown. My first encounter was actually Paul Dassault called me over to the front of our building, and there's two guys there with a Macintosh, and Paul goes, "I want to show you something."
A Macintosh.
And he plays with his Macintosh and types something. All of a sudden, the carpet sweeps of the memory test, which is pretty much a signature of the old Williams games, is appearing on the Mac, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys wrote a simulator.
All right. Haunted house. Oh, gotta love the old pixel art design on graph paper. Oh boy. That's actually a pretty cool sheet. I don't know if I ever saw a two-player Gauntlet cab. That looks weird. Like, it doesn't look any skinnier than the four-player one. Oh, slightly. Gotta love the art. What? That's less good art. Cybots. Cybots was originally Gauntlet characters? Oh, so they just gave it generic sci-fi dudes. That would have been cool. Or cooler, anyway. The game had to be pulled for being too popular. Oh, because too many people saw it in the field test. Atari split into two companies in '84, so that's after the crash. Atari Corp and Atari Games. Gauntlet, Marvel Menace, and Paperboy were among the first produced by Atari Games. Oh, that's just making it more confusing. Okay. Why did they make the font this big? John Newcomer was a toy designer. Bill Futzenreuter, that's a good name. Biggest concern was the absence of firing. I guess that's pretty ballsy. Oh, so it was kind of a surprise that they did it as pixels rather than, what do you call them? Lines, No, the opposite of rasters. Vectors, that's it. Huh. It's saved pixel games. What do we got? Oh, it's John Newcomer.
Compared to now, we're working with bubble gum and rubber bands and and hot glue. Essentially, the memory in the game was, I believe, 96K, which is just nothing. Now, I mean, we waste that on title screens nowadays. So the real challenge in designing games back then was, how do you do something interesting with some nice animation, and how do you do it in such a small package, because that doesn't allow us a lot of variety. There was a bug when we first were working on the flying and the running of the ostrich, and we had neglected to consider is when the ostrich lands on some of the floating cliffs, of how's that handled. When does the animation call the running leg and,
just bounces.
And then the non-leg flap sequence. So there's a lot of situations where the ostrich is, the cliff is floating and the ostrich will be flying, but he's not high enough to show his legs. So it'll just do a belly flop across the cliff.
Yeah, that's great.
And on the one side of the screen, we had two cliffs that were staggered.
Oh.
And when it does a belly flop, there's a little hole of a couple of pixels, and it allows the bird to squeeze out between the two cliffs. And we're racking our brains trying to fix it.
Yeah, just leave
we were
it.
so embroiled in playing Cutthroat, where we would try to kill each other when we were playing and testing the game, and it became a really fun trick to do, is that someone would be hovering underneath these cliffs, and then you'd deliberately do the belly flop and squirt out and kill the guy underneath. And so we decided to keep that in there and call it a feature.
Nice.
One thing that was a real frustration for me was I like to pride myself in thinking of all the little details. And when Joust originally came out, there was a nasty pterodactyl bug where a player could stand on the middle edge and just hold his position, and the mouth of the pterodactyl would hit right into the lance, and you could play the game almost infinitum. I never could. I'm just too slow, I guess. But a lot of really good players, when we first sent the game out to manufacture, could do that.
The Dreamcast version
really,
lets you pick that
really
original version and play it, but I'm not even good enough to reproduce
I had a
that.
grid paper of how big all the characters were. I mapped out what the intelligence, the flight patterns of all the birds and the pterodactyls were, so that nothing like that would happen, where there'd be an infinite bug like that, where you could just keep playing the game forever and ever.
What, the movie?
Joust the movie is it's a little hobby I've been working on.
What?
I guess the transition is, I started off as a toy designer, then I became a video game designer, and then I would like to become a movie designer. So I had always thought that Joust would make a great movie. The technology was never there for what I had in mind, but now it's more than there.
I guess that didn't happen.
Right now, the old video games are being gobbled up by collectors. I've been looking for an original Joust cocktail table, of which there's, even though Joust did really well, we only made about 500 cocktail tables.
Oh wow!
And it was really too bad, because it was one of the originals. It was the only two-player simultaneous side-by-side.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, you sit side by side.
That was made, so it had a unique look, because at the time most all the other cocktail tables like Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. One person sat on one side, the other sat on the other opposite, and then the screen flipped around. Well, this played just like the regular Joust because you're both sitting next to each other, and the screen didn't flip. So I'd always regretted that I didn't get one for myself. So I finally found one and did some trades here and there, and I paid about $500 for it. But I would say they're probably worth more than that now.
Probably. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's all. Wait, look at that grip on. He's got this, like, grip neck thing. Whoa, little legs on that ostrich. Nice. That girl's got fancy socks. Oh, that's the cocktail. Oh man, I need higher resolution. Wow. Whoa. That's a wacky looking pinball table. That looks fairly normal from there. That's Python Angelo art. Alright, well that was fun. The most coveted piece for any Joust Meister would be Joust 2. Go, no. Add all sorts of new characters, use a vertical monitor, but he ended up hating the vertical monitor, according to something I read. An excellent game that was a bomb.
Joust 2 is the trivia question of all time, I guess, was that there actually was a sequel. We tried to resurrect Joust in 1985. Didn't make many games, but this is at a time when very few video games were selling, and there wasn't much of a video department anymore, and he had met with some of management. We were trying to figure out, well, gee, let's try another game, and so we were considering resurrecting and doing a sequel of either Robotron or Joust, and they decided to let's give Joust a crack at it.
Oh boy, quiz. Why did Joust 2 have a vertical monitor? Because, yeah, vertical cabinets were, well, what I read was that well, I guess that's the same thing, vertical cabs were popular, so they, oh man, so yeah, that wasn't quite it. What? Oh, well so because they wanted to take advantage of the popularity of vertical cabinets and make a thing that could take existing cabinets and just go in them.
Joust came out with a vertical monitor because it was during a time period when dedicated videos were having a great deal of difficulty.
So it's this green screen
Joust 2
thing.
was supposed to be a kit to retrofit various games out in the field.
Oh.
At that time, most of the games in the field were vertical monitors, like Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, etc. It also seemed like the vertical screen would give the player more height so that they could fly and open up some new play possibilities. And for lack of any other reason, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
In retrospect, I regret it. Yeah, you turn into a Pegasus. It's funny, I mean, Pegasus is like the name of the winged horse in mythology, but now it's just a Pegasus. Best way to utilize this new character. No, it's dropping on top of him. Straight up.
Fun of the Pegasus is that you have to choose at what times to strategically become an ostrich and a Pegasus. The advantage is that an ostrich moves faster in the air but isn't as strong on the ground.
What do you mean
Pegasus,
strong?
being a much more stout beast, is when you're on the ground, if there's a tie, you're both on the same level, it wins.
Oh.
But if you're fighting in the air, it's sinking like a rock, so you're almost always higher than
Well,
the
that
Pegasus.
thing about automatically
you
winning
decide
is a
which character
Pegasus
you
on the
wanna use
ground.
anyway.
That's not clear at all. That's good to know. Heck, I learned something. What famous artist? Oh. Well, it looks like that Roger Dean guy who did like Psygnosis box designs and stuff. But probably Escher. They already named Escher somewhere.
It's an easy question. My favorite artist is M.C. Escher, and
Yeah, there is the
famous
top of
for doing
one
the
screen
drawings and sketches
where the
of,
enemies
three-dimensional objects forming out of
spawn
two-dimensional space.
in like a
And
pattern.
so
They
that's
like
why you
fit
see a lot of the
into these repeating
buzzards
spaces.
falling out of the background and things of that nature. And just as a plus for me is we both share the same birthday.
Aw. Okay, that's all the trivia, huh? Well, he's got a marquee. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Well, they got the title in there. I don't think I've seen that screen. The big egg thing kind of sucks. I mean, the art, the marquee and the side, whatever you call the art on the sides of the screen, this is not the best thing they've done. Okay, so here we're at another game that is not in the PS3 collection. KLAX. Oh, I didn't hit any options. Gosh, dang it. Just talking about the 90s. We got... Okay, well... We got movement and flip. It's just the same, yeah.
KLAX was a game which management approached us, I don't know what, in late summer and said we needed a product for the January show in England, and could we do a game in a few months? And so, you know, of course I said yes, and then we had to go figure out what we were going to do in 4 months. And at that time, Tetris had been popular. Ed had done a coin-op version of Tetris, and Tetris had just taken off. So this KLAX was basically a following on the footsteps of trying to come up with
Williams did a coin-op
that played into
Tetris?
this whole puzzle game thing that was happening at the time. I started drawing just on the paint system I had at work. I started drawing just little shapes of abstract pictures that looked like puzzle games, not without any kind of restrictions on what they should do or anything. And after, I don't know what, a week or two of this.
Right, he'd hang the ones that he liked, he'd print out and hang up on his wall. So we had all these things that looked like games, a lot of simple primary shapes and a lot of very...
And that's how a great game was born, or KLAX.
We were trying to minimize the hardware and have the least expensive hardware we could have.
Well...
Mark wanted a golf type sound, you know, like the little like clapping and the sound of a golf crowd in there. So we kind of went around the halls and we got everybody we could and we put them into the sound lab.
Yeah.
Okay. Get hooked on KLAX in Japan.
Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack was the original idea for the sound of the tiles coming down. So we just shortened it from that.
It was funny, when the game went to Japan, they were concerned at the time because the drug thing was just happening and something called crack had just come out. And they were real
man.
confused.
Okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Anyway. Flip. Movement. It's the 90s and there's time for KLAX. See, but now like Atari owns it? I don't know. Uh-oh. Oh. You're welcome. Oh, I have to match 3 colors. Oh. Diagonally, holy.
Wave.
A KLAX. Oh, that's not a green thing, it's just an empty thing. Did it. Jeez, they're galloping at me. I gotta say, this is not super compelling so far. I know I've played KLAX before, and I just never even knew what I was doing. Oh, I got lots of point stuff. 5 KLAXes. Oh. Can I hold multiple things on this thing? It's just too... Like, it feels like you shouldn't have this middleman. It's like Tetris, but we've inserted a middleman. It's much more boring. It's like if Tetris only had a single shape and had a middleman. And had really annoying sound and no music. Thank goodness.
Diagonal.
Oh no, okay, I don't want to do that. So that was KLAX, Marble Madness. What's it got to say? This was in the PS3 collection. PS3? Yeah, it's a logo. Marbles. Hey, it's got some guy. What's he saying? Your players will be crazy about Marble Madness. You'll be crazy about the high profits. I love these sales sheets. That's a pretty cool logo. Yeah, they did this crazy, like, they actually rendered the Marble Madness levels to get that lighting and stuff. It's kind of wild. Sorry, he was 17 when he joined. Alright. Okay, so Paperboy, I guess I better. Medium hard, what? Just medium, for Pete's sake. We got steer, pedal, and throw. I don't want throw on R1. Why would I want it on... Oh, because it's dual analog. That's... right. Okay, fine. Okay. it delivers. Beat up controller. Well, not really, it just somehow looks beat up. Look at that kid. Got some crazy complexion stuff going on. Look how the paper just says blah, 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 blah. We're going to Easy Street, baby.
Juvenile delinquent, Paperboy journeys through a world of incredible danger.
Juvenile delinquent. Oh yeah, I have to hit the throw button. I love that crazy minimalist music. Okay, I'm not actually, I was never good at Paperboy. It was always in the arcade. I got a little point. Okay. Oh, I didn't make that one. I had a paper route, but I sure didn't deliver on bikes. Second time, oh, I broke the glass door. Oh. Oh, heck. Oh, what? I couldn't deliver to that house, or what? Oh, how am I supposed to deliver here? Did it. Okay, I'm going real slow. It's probably gonna come back and bite me. Nailed it. Okay, go, go, go. Oh, man. I made it. Oh, I nailed that. Oh, I couldn't hit those guys. I did all kinds of horrible stuff. Oops, sorry. I'm almost out of paper, shit. Got it. Oh, stop the burglar. Oh, I missed him and I hit the dog. Darn dog. Wait, do I have to restart? Okay, we're just here. I got him. Oh, I missed. Oh. Oh, shoot. That was scary. Oh, look at these low-res guys. I love how there's just different resolution stuff. Oh, I took a jump. Oh, I missed a jump. Do it. Yeah. Oh, I should be throwing stuff at the targets. Those are kind of like the people in Harper. I love you, Paperboy. Wow. Hardcore fans. Well, you know. Uh-oh. That's not good. This is actually, like, the PS2 is lower resolution than Paperboy. I think. So, like, I don't understand why Paperboy wasn't in the PS3 collection. I mean, Paperboy was everywhere. It's a huge game. As far as I could tell. Oh, I should have slowed down. This is a hazardous job, man. I mean, why is he riding his bike? It just seems really hazardous and expensive. You just walk this route, or, you know, just get a little cart. That's what I had. Just pull a cart. Oh, I nailed that statue. Uh-oh, they're gonna cancel. Oh, I got... oh, of course the bees come. Bees always come and get me in these games. So I guess I don't have a lot of subscribers left anyway. Oh, the bees! Oh.
Whoa, where am I?
I'm in bee land. Oh, I got the high score though. Take that, you ingrates. So right analog goes through the alphabet here. That's probably the best I've ever done at Paperboy, but I was on easy or whatever, medium, whatever it was. Well, that's all right. Never got into Paperboy really. Rampage is fun. Even one player is just weirdly addictive.
My contribution was this. I did 100% of the software. Brian and
just printed out the code.
Sharon came up with the original idea of Rampage as far as it's like, what can we do as far as scrolling a background, using background animation as abilities. They came up with the original idea, and then we got together on stuff, and we went from a 2-player monster breaking up the world to 3. It was, a lot of it was to do with, we were going to make you the biggest, baddest character on the screen and have all the good guys being the little people that you were destroying. It was a game of letting you do the destruction.
Okay. Hype.
Rampage was fun. Rampage was one of these things that broke a lot of ground in a lot of different ways. We managed to squeeze an extra player on the cabinet, and that let the game at the time earn the distinction of being the highest earning game ever.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do, once it took off, they wanted, a lot of the trade magazines wanted to do covers and stuff like that. So we actually we mocked up a scene wherein got a dollhouse and busted a wall out of it and put some furniture in there, and I made a little styrofoam head, and this was pushing through the wall, so it was the cover of a magazine. With this, because the rub with Rampage was you're destroying all these cities. There's 768 levels in the original.
768?
125 different cities. We actually,
my gosh.
Unbeknownst to management at the time, we sent out press releases to all the cities all over the world telling them that their town was about to be destroyed by 3 giant creatures. And amazingly, over 50 papers around the world picked up on it. And I mean, front page articles telling them that, you too can destroy Peoria for 25 cents. This was, the peripheral stuff is as much fun, for me anyway.
Free advertising.
The names for the characters were more just,
Okay, I don't care about that.
You've got a certain amount of time to do a game. We've got to be done with this in so long. There's a million things you always want to do, and you come to the point where you've only got so much time left, so the feedback becomes real important. If people see that, yeah, I can punch this subway train and it goes back the other way, somebody stumbles onto the fact that, well, if you let me punch it again instead of destroying it, we've got a game within a game here. So it's accidental. Based on feedback, you enhance it. Instead of making it 2 hits to destroy it, well, let's make it 10 so they can knock it back and forth. Once the monsters shrunk, obviously they weren't wearing clothes when they were monsters. They'd have to be nude down there. So I did a little nude picture of men and women covering their private parts, such as they were. And actually, we had a fair amount of backlash over that. Here we've got something with that, her hips are only 3 pixels wide, so I defy you to point anything out if you could find it, but we actually got some, you can't do that. These people, once they found out they were nude, there was a backlash, but it was more just,
People are silly. Okay. So Rampage, Rampart are in the PS3 when RoadBlasters is not. Unlimited continues. T-shirt contest. Oh, cool. I want to win a T-shirt. Contest track. Steering gas on the right analog. Fire R1, special L1. Oh. I liked RoadBlasters in the arcade. I don't think I ever saw the sit-down cabinet. Mr. Sandman? Alright, here we go. Pedal is the right analog. We're going Bubble City. Okay. I barely got that guy. Ah. Whoa. So the green things give you gas, or fuel, I guess I should say. Got him. I got fuel from just getting through there. You can kind of brake. Bonus fuel. Hey. Okay. Whoa, right. Look at Bubble City. That big dome, that rules. Ah! It's too bad this is such blurry resolution. In the arcade, it was really sharp looking. Oh, so that's a special weapon. Machine gun thing. Oh, dumb. I love how the car, like, leaps forward. Mine's... Ah. I got exactly no fuel. Oh, no. Oh, wow. That was on no fuel. That was really bad. What's the number 3 up in the corner for? Oof. This car doesn't have great traction. Ooh. Oh, shoot. It's gonna take my quarters. Oh, come on. No. Did it have to restart the whole thing? I gotta say, the steering is kind of awkward without the arcade wheel here. Grog. I love how this car can't drive through a puddle without spinning out. Those cannons on the side of the road are completely ineffective. Barely made it. I had a reserve tank. Sweet. I guess the number in the upper right is the stage. Shoot. Oh no, I missed everything. Grr. I feel like I need a nitro boost. I'm just holding gas down the whole time. Oh, I finally got hit by a gun. Reserve tank owns. Well, thanks. Hey, that looks like the Pacific Northwest. Oh. Yo. I shouldn't have gone for that. What does dying actually do? Uh-oh. Oh, the gun hit the other car. Wow. I can't even destroy those cars. At least not with my regular gun. What? Ooh. I just turned a car into fuel. Now that's some efficient recycling. Hey. Ew. Oh, main tank exhausted. Oh boy. Jeez. That stage suddenly got real long. Alright, that's okay. Yeah, the steering and aiming isn't super hot with the controller. How do I... Right analog? No. Oh, left analog? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's not gonna work. Wait. What? Oh, heck. Heck, yeah. Robotron's in PS3 collection. Oh man. Blah blah. Not a complete departure from Defender 1 and 2. It keeps the same art style, really. Chase for the Commodore Pet. And Berserk. I don't like Berserk at all, but I haven't really played it that much. I don't know if I ever even saw Berserk in the arcade. I guess maybe it was a bit old by the time I was really paying attention. Okay. The first game with a 2D bit blitter hardware. With 2D bit blitter hardware, what is... I'm not sure what that means, but it can do all kinds of fancy effects. Oh yeah, DeMar went to pinball. And Jarvis did Narc. Narc's in one of these. I think it's in 2. Oh.
The controls were totally one of a kind at the time, and they've hardly been used ever since. Eugene really, wanted to give you that.
It's too many friggin' buttons.
And part of the, one of the really adrenaline rushes in the game as a result of the amount of power you have. You've got so much power and control that the game can put you in really tough situations you can actually fight your way out of. And that's one thing that keeps people coming back to it over and over. There were some games in that period that were producing either low numbers or not at all that most of the audience probably hasn't had a chance to see. Some low production games were Mystic Marathon.
I just posted a screenshot of that on my Tumblr today, Mystic Marathon.
Those three they were tested, and then there were some number built of each of those models.
Turkey
and they can
shoot.
be found in collectors' hands, but the quantities are limited. Then there were games like Play Ball, Speedball. There's at least one other that were fully developed and tested but were never put into production, and there are no games in collectors' hands. I have the only existing Play Ball sitting in my office.
Whoa. I never even heard of those. Has that been dumped?
We also had a sequence where you can, play with the controls, and out comes a copyright message with
the hands.
My name on it. It's in both Stargate and Robotron. The Robotron sequence I know off the top of my head. The Stargate one I have written down.
What's the Robotron?
The Robotron one, okay, it's three. Each of the sequences are three combinations of buttons being pressed. And
okay.
I've got a Robotron down in my basement, and it's like every now and then I just have to go down and kick its butt. It's just, I've got to, just kick its ass. And unfortunately, if I haven't played in a while, I'll get down there and it'll just humiliate me. Now, every Robotron player that's really into it these days plays it at 10. You have to play the total maximum difficulty. Otherwise, you can just play it forever and it's not interesting. But at 10, it is a real nasty, mean game. And it takes you maybe an hour or two just to get warmed up. The game will just kick your ass and humiliate you, and you'll get 80,000 or 100,000 or 150,000, and you're just crying out, and you just like want to kill it. You're grabbing the game by the joysticks, and you're just shaking it and slamming it in the wall. And eventually you get to the point, it's almost like warming up for a basketball game or something. You get to the point, you're sweaty, and you've got this kind of attitude. You cannot win until you have this attitude, this total mindset of just total concentration and total rage. You've got to be pissed off.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's a sketch. It's Dad. Mom. The robots have organized and revolted. They have turned against their masters. Alright. Okay, so Robotron's in the PS3 one, so is Satan's Hollow. Satan's Hollow is kind of cool. I guess it had, so the joystick has a black light in it. They were talking about this on an old episode of 10 Pence Arcade podcast I just happened to be listening to. So it's a black light in the arcade stick that lights up. That's pretty sweet. Oh man. Oh, Sinistar. Sinistar, I know it's like people make a big deal out of it, but I just can't get into it.
That quality that I saw back then, it still stands out. A lot of times these days with a lot of the games, the newer games that we see come out in the arcades, they're interesting, but they're either, they're beautiful games to look at, but the gameplay is real lousy. It's not an enjoyable experience. Or they've got some interesting gameplay things going there, but they don't pay attention to graphically what really makes a game look good and can help bring the player into the experience more. You don't see a whole lot of attention being paid to all of the parts of a good game all at the same time, as they used to in the old days when the discipline seemed to have been different. And so it's really easy for me to believe that there's this, classic bring the old stuff back again kind of sentiment out there.
I love how tanned and chill out he was. Hit message. Okay. Man, they had sit-downs for all these things. I had no idea. That's a spooky looking sit-down. So yeah, Sinistar is on PS3, so is this game, Smash TV, which I don't really like, but it is Eugene Jarvis again.
I guess the
doing another dual stick game.
Robotron and Smash TV is you are confined to a single screen.
Yeah.
And really in Robotron it was the easy thing to do with the technology at the time, and it turned out kind of interesting. In Smash TV we actually chose that, the dynamic there, because the cool thing of that dynamic is it's a confinement. It's a sense of being trapped and surrounded.
Yeah, and then he just sends way too many opponents that you can deal with, and you just get crushed under him. I'm not really into that. Game is gross.
My favorite gratuitous piece of violence in Smash TV is the eyeball.
Oh yeah.
When you step on that landmine, this incredible.
There was a movie called Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger that must have come out around 88, something like that, that kind of formed some of the the elements of Smash TV as well. Of course, we had two people out there competing just amongst themselves. It wasn't like the movie where they're we're talking about doing a Smash TV sequel. I mean,
well, they did.
John came up with the idea of this game show.
What's the other one called?
Competing, and it really still applies to today's marketplace, which is competitive head-to-head activity. In some kind of a creative world.
Primal Carnage or whatever the heck it is. Total Carnage.
I mean, that would be so cool. I mean, that's a great concept.
Yeah.
I could do Smash TV from start to finish on one quarter. Which wasn't easy. I mean, to go through that game on just one start without any continues. I mean, you have to really, be playing right, especially on the snakes. I mean, the snake boss monster was the last boss.
Okay, Splat is not in the PS3 collection. Oh, I didn't do the things. Okay. Left analog. Oh, what? And then face buttons for... Okay. Why isn't fire? Why won't it let me do... Why can't I do fire? Oh, so I guess fire is on right analog. It's just that you could also do it with the face buttons. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Because, yeah, it's a dual analog game. Oh, wait, oh, yeah, I don't like this game. Oh, it's another... That's just like the Joust cabinet, though. Aw. The cocktail cabinet, I mean. That's kind of cool. Walk through. Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw this in the arcade. Oh, it's Newcomer, whatever his name is again, the Joust guy.
The inspiration for Splat had a lot to do with John Belushi's big scene in Animal House. It was a good time, it was a lot of fun, and I thought just a food fight would make a really good game.
Is there a food fight scene? And I don't know if I've ever actually seen Animal House all the way through. Wait, it was a prototype game? Oh. That would explain why I never saw it. Oh. Oh, it's got one big trivia question. Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't think I actually like this game though, so I guess there's a reason why it didn't come out, or was it the crash? Mark the Slob, Harry the Hood, Tanya Tootsie. Oh, Moonwalk. Oh, wait, can I be Tanya Tootsie instead of this guy? Oh man, the sound is kind of off. And he like knock people's heads off or something, and it feels like a prototype. Beware the Hitman. And what are the keys for? So a door opens. I threw a key, what? There goes my head. I nailed something kind of accidentally. Oh, I can go out of a door and then get my head blown off, I guess. So I can cross this. That's all the key does. This game blows. Yeah, well, Splat can go back to prototype land. Spy Hunter? Is it Spy Hunter? It is. Spy Hunter's in the PS3 version. Whoa. What the heck? I played Spy Hunter a lot in the arcade. It was like at the bowling alley. I had a little arcade that I went to a lot. Man, violence. Roland DeLuca, alias Lucky. Mercenary terrorist serves the highest bidder. Should be considered ruthless and deadly. Oh man, I think I must have seen it sit down. Which song was originally used? Because I couldn't use the Peter Gunn theme, so... Wait. Another song was originally sought after and programmed in it. Oh. That's probably James Bond.
Well, originally, it was going to be the James Bond theme because Bill Adams, who was running the software group at the time, and I were both huge James Bond fans. And we had gone to Japan, and I'd picked up a tape of James Bond's greatest hits. And the very first time we brought the game up, I mean, it was really, the entire game was very, very James Bond inspired. But the game played with the James Bond theme for many months until we couldn't get the rights, at which point one of the marketing guys suggested Peter Gunn, which was something we weren't terribly familiar with, but, you know, it did the trick.
Gomez is awesome. He also did Satan's Hollow, and he did like a ton of pinball games that are really good, like Monster Bash. This car in Spy Hunter, George Gomez's birthday, was modeled after a real car George Gomez owned. I don't know cars.
Car was a 1983 Z28.
I got it.
I'd just gotten, and I'm a huge car nut, so I actually wanted to do lots of different cars. And one of the problems was that we really had tremendous limitations. I mean, you know, 32 by 32 pixel picture blocks, 2 of them stacked to draw the car. Couldn't get a lot of, you really couldn't get a lot of anything that looked like any real car. Originally I wanted it to be something even flashier, and we couldn't get it in. So The red, my car was red, the red didn't look great either. So we ended up with a white car that showed up really well, had some red and blue stripes on it.
What's with the camera work, man? Midway had forgotten their group existed. Midway was living off a gravy train of Japanese licensed games. Well, that could be. That was probably before the crash, though. Let's try this one. Oh, man.
You have to remember that it was a time when the company was doing tremendously well with Japanese game licenses. You know, we're making 1,200 Pac-Man a day, and that's not an exaggeration, you know. So it was a time when, you know, an internal development group made up of guys that just really wanted to make games. We were just kind of, you know, they put us in a warehouse off-site, kind of forgot about us. And, you know, basically there was, the pressure was, we wanted to make really cool games, but they had plenty of product to put on an assembly line. It's a little different than today, where we actually, you know, we need, when a game designer has a product in development, that product is expected to make it to market. So the pressure was a little different.
Third spy under chase sequence. Fighter sequence? Let's try Alpine Ski. Oh, heck. Man.
When we start doing a game, we typically throw in the kitchen sink before reality intrudes. And so this game had everything that you've ever seen in a spy movie. And the transformation to the boat, and then was supposed to be followed by a transformation to a flying device, something like the helicopter. So you could go head-to-head with the enemy helicopter that is such a bastard in the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. Super Sprint is in the PS3 version, so is Root Beer Tapper. Let's look at this. I don't really like Super Sprint.
There was nothing realistic about the driving algorithm in Super Sprint, but that's what made it fun and challenging. Because the older games.
That's one opinion. Whoa. Well, that's got the beer pulls for the control. Look at that weird wood grain. Oh, what is that stage? I didn't get that far. You're at a space station? Oh, that alien is in that green alien is in Toobin. Oh, wow. The one, well, the one in the lower middle left, basically the green guy down there.
That'd be Budweiser, and the way that came about was Scott and I came up with an idea for a bar game, and we were intrigued by the idea of sliding beers and empty mugs down a bar, and what kind of action you could get with a bartender, and some angry customers or some happy customers. And we did some initial design work on that, and we went to Bally Midway, and there was a fellow at Bally Midway who was very good at getting licenses. I think his name was Tom Nauman. And he went out and talked to Budweiser in St. Louis, got them excited, and we all went down and talked to them some more, and Budweiser was on board.
Tapper arcade game included what unique features to attract? Oh yeah, I read this too. It had cup holders.
Bally Midway at the time had really good cabinet people, so we suggested a cabinet that looked like a bar. They put a brass rail at the bottom of the cabinet where you could rest your foot while you're sitting on a stool playing the game. They put metal cup holders on the control panel where you could rest your drink, preferably a Budweiser. and the Budweiser tappers looked like, or the tappers to pour beer actually looked like Budweiser tappers. For the root beer version, they changed the cabinet just slightly.
Those are called
where they
tappers.
put some extra stickers on the cabinet to say root beer, and that they changed the Budweiser logos to root beer logos.
True.
Well, we tested Tapper first in the Snuggery, and that was a new kind of testing for us. We'd previously only tested in arcades, and so I think Scott and I really enjoyed an opportunity to go test this in the evenings at the Snuggery, and it was exciting for us to watch players who were having a good time in the bar kind of wander over and get excited about a beer drinking game, a Budweiser game, and we
not really a beer drinking game.
Them, and we learned a lot from those initial tests. We knew we had a winner when we watched people play.
Wonder if the Snuggery still exists. What group of bands that inspired Tapper's Third Bar? I don't know what Tapper's Third Bar is. Let's see, what does it look like you would listen to? He kind of looks like an REO Speedwagon guy, are you right? Oh, heck. Fine.
I've always had sort of an eclectic taste in music. In college, I got into a lot of alternative stuff. I was a big fan of Devo and Talking Heads, the Ramones. I used to listen to that a lot in my office while I was designing the characters. I had a lot of fun putting safety pins through their heads and mohawks on the characters.
Oh, he's the artist. I like his character art. It's kind of grotesque, but
kind of stuff, so
kind
I
of
tried to keep
fun.
it to myself as much as possible. But it was kind of fun to bring the music scene of the time and put it into the video game. It kind of dates the whole piece.
Speaking of which, I love how some of these guys have mullets. What else? Quirky early 80s video games. Frantically set up dominoes. Well, that's in one of these collections. Oh, see all the above.
Well, we worked on several together. The first one was Domino Man. I had a minor role in that, but I think Rich and Elaine Ditton were really the drivers on that one. And then
I don't even know what that is.
In a game called Wacko with Scott. We were matching aliens and mismatching aliens, and it was really a lot of fun. You could get some interesting
Wacko's in one of these.
I still look back and I like that game very, very much. And then we came up with an interesting idea of a two-player competitive
Timber
game,
is
which was one of the first. There were a few that preceded it, but you were a logger and you were playing against another logger trying to knock trees on each other. And we had a log rolling round in there, and we really had a lot of fun with that one. It was almost in the same vein as Tapper, but a little bit different play mechanics. So we worked on some interesting stuff.
I guess that didn't come out then, because I think Timber is single player. Tapper has an Easter egg that displays the creator's initials when you do the following. Hold all your joysticks down and push the 1 and 2 player start buttons at the same time. It will only work when the game is in what mode? Cowboy bar? Track mode? Bonus round? Bonus round?
Back in those days, creators of games were really not allowed to put their names or credits into the game.
All right. Innovative feature didn't make it in. Tournament competition. Dispense beer when you run around. Mold plastic cabinet. Probably that. Digitized sound clip. Emitted recorded burps. Oh, heck.
We're designing all the characters for the game. We had a lot of fun animations, and after they would drink the beers,
Man, this camera sucks.
some of them would burp. We thought, wouldn't that be a kick to have a burp sound in the game? So we contacted Texas Instruments to see if they had any kind of speech chips that we could do to use for the game. They had a speech specialist at the time who brought us over to their office, supplied us with a 6-pack of beer. We all sat around a microphone drinking beer and belching into it, and we ended up with a pretty neat chip full of our belches. We put it in the game, and after almost every beer they would belch, and it was very, very funny, but it got pretty obnoxious, and we all decided that Budweiser probably wouldn't be too thrilled with the idea, so we scrapped it.
It's a shame. Man, they got a lot of trivia in this. Okay, well, I guess I've seen that one. Toobin's cool. that's in the PS3 collection.
I think the big inspiration for Toobin for me when I was first thinking of the idea is it was kind of a reaction to the fighting genre of games that was going on at the time. And I saw an enormous amount of violent activity in video games at the time, and I swore to myself there must be a way to create a game that's fun to play and can earn a lot of money, but can be good, clean fun for kids to play. Well, I think it was a fun game, and a lot of people enjoyed it, but it still didn't have the appeal that the violent games had. It's just amazing. It's very difficult to come up with a concept that you would think that people would have fun playing in a sort of a strategic way, a kind of in a challenging way in terms of the control, to challenge yourself as a designer, to come up with innovative new environments and approaches, and still the kids are drawn toward these violent tendencies.
Kids like violence, man.
Later on, I went to do Primal Rage, which was a big hit because it had a lot of blood in it. So it's a reaction to kind of these violent games. And I thought that there was a way that we could make a game that would be good, clean fun for kids. And I think that Toobin was definitely a cult hit. There was a good, strong, following.
I wonder, could he have seen Tekken? Because you kind of have one button per limb in Toobin, like Tekken. You got your paddle with your left hand, right hand, and the feet.
We built a tile editor, and we had pieces of river, of rapids, of shoreline, and the designer would sit and click through tiles one at a time and basically lay them down right in the system and build himself a level and connect all the pieces, kind of like magic squares, and you put it all together, and all of a sudden you have a level. And then you could go and you could add objects on top of that. You could add snakes or alligators or hippos and cans, and you could just pop those in the playfield at different spots and try the level on almost immediately. If you go through and you destroy each individual piece of brush or thorns that are out there in the water, eventually what will pop up is one of the letters of Toobin will come out and it will float around.
What?
You can go and collect it. And so at the end of the game, you try to spell out Toobin in letters. Sort of as a, it's kind of
that's what that was.
A game on
Mine were always grayed out. I never
do that, but it's,
what was the reward for that?
I guess I didn't hit enough stuff. I barely shot cans at anything.
Yeah, it came out and spelled it out for you. and you got a lot of money. You got a lot of points.
I never got any Toobin letters.
If you go slow on Toobin, the gator would come out, and he was called the gator for a reason. It's because he was put in there
because he was a gator
to keep pushing you ahead. It was this again. Toobin was a waiting game. And we found that what players would do is they would just sit there and wait for just the right period of time, and then really try to get through the gate or to go past an obstacle. And in order to kind of prod them a little bit, we put the gator out there, and if you don't go through the gates, he'll come out and bite you, and sort of prod you along and get you going. So the trick of Toobin is to take a nice pace and always go through the gates, and he will never bother you ever.
It's not really clear from playing the game.
One of the novel things about Toobin is we did have a pretty decent current map, and depending on the animation of the water would actually pull you down at different rates depending upon the graphic that we were displaying underneath the character at the time too. And I don't think that kind of thing had been done previously, especially not with water, at least. But there's always been this aspect that you have a game and you have a player and you have a play field and you have obstacles or enemies in the play field, but the play field itself doesn't really interact with you. It sort of sits there. And this was kind of a new approach to have the actual playfield as part of the game as well.
What is that FPS in the background?
It was the incredible J11 chip.
Oh yeah.
Which was a DEC-based processor. PDP-11 family chip, right? You had that chip, didn't you? And we we programmed in a language called Bliss, which was anything but. And it was quite a beast.
Okay, so Vindicators is not in the PS3 collection. The PS3 collection has Vindicators Part 2, which I was not super enamored by. T-shirt contest enabled. Oh yeah, it's got this tank control thing. You can, for some reason, turn your turret separate from the tank itself. It probably makes sense with however the cabinet's controls look. Oh yeah. It's crazy tank controls. Alright, well, this is Vindicators 1. Oh boy. Maximum number of controls. Don't. Oh, I can speed it up. Demo? Okay. It looks a lot like... How do I shoot? Oh man, I have to use face buttons to shoot. Okay. Not quite getting the steering. Okay, I can use the D-pad. That's a little easier. Okay, I'm just using D-pad and X. That seems fine. This looks a heck of a lot like Vindicators 2. Also, the sound is very low. I'll just go out there. Eep. This looks almost exactly like Vindicators Part 2. What the heck? Same things to buy and everything. Although, maybe you don't turn your... Maybe you can't turn your turret separately from the tank in this one. But it's just annoying in the second one. You get all, like, sideways and out of alignment. Uh-oh. I'm dead. Game over. I got one whole life. Oh. No, there is a gun rotation thing. I must not have the control figured out. Yeah, I'm just not super big. I mean, this is just like Part 2, practically. Except I can't figure out how to turn the turret, which is just as well. Ah, save the money. I don't want to spend the money, okay. Oh yeah, this is awkward. This happens in Part 2 also. Oh. Oh. Yo. Did they hit their own turret? Oh, the base looks weird. Oh, that's not the base, that's a bridge. Oh, there's... Yeah, I got a little lucky and just hit the weird door. But it doesn't even look... It's just off to the side, just this weird... This is exactly like Part 2.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
It's such a weird bonus thing. No 2 free shields. Getting hit. Oh, that guy didn't die. I didn't get a store. I mean, this game is playable, it's just not super fun. Probably more fun with a weird tank control. Alright, well. So that's it. That's all the games that aren't in the PS3 collection and this is Midway Arcade Treasures, the first one. I guess it was called Midway Arcade Treasures 1. There's a version that came out that didn't have the 1 on it. I don't think that's this one though. It's kind of cool having all those reviews and stuff. So I do have 2 and 3. I guess I have time. I guess I'll go try to play some of the 2 stuff, but I guess I'll put it as a separate video because this one's going to have a lot of dumb timeline entries already. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so yeah, this was Midway Arcade Treasures 1, and just the games that aren't in the PS3, because I just played through all those already. So basically the ones in this one that aren't in PS3 are Blaster, which is pretty awkward. KLAX, which... Paperboy, which is kind of surprising, given that it was kind of a big deal, I think, back then. RoadBlasters. Splat, which I guess was just a prototype. And Vindicators, which is almost exactly like Vindicators Part 2, which is in the PS3 one, so I can't even... Maybe something about the turret rotation, but I don't know. Anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching, and on to Midway Arcade Treasures 2, I guess, next time.